day 41 of my cold plunge ice bath journey. Check out the temps.
Ooh, you down in them 30s.
Ooh, ooh. Sheesh. It's a shock every time. All right, what I want to talk to you today about is I always try to look for the silver lining or the bright side of things in life, in events, but especially in people. For me, I'm speaking about my pop. Anybody that knows me or followed me for a while would know that I didn't meet my pop till I was about 10, maybe 9. He kind of bounced on us, started a new family, went about his day, left me and my 2 sisters. So at about 9 or 10, my grandfather says, "Hey man, let's go meet somebody." I'm like, "Meet who?" And I'll come to find out, I want to meet my dad. My dad was living in Houston at the time. So he takes us down there, I meet him. And I remember on the ride, I really didn't think anything about even having a dad up to that point, which is really odd. I knew other people had dads, and I knew I must have had a dad. I didn't think I was, my mother was married or anything. But, so I meet him, and we really didn't have a good relationship since then, to be perfectly honest. So fast forward, become grown, I become a parent. I realize people make mistakes, give my life to Christ, and I forgive them for bouncing. And then I started looking at the bright side of certain things about him when I was able to forgive him, which was he was always an entrepreneur. When I met him in Houston, I think he had a daycare center. He used to sell food. His major thing was for him, he made dentures, had a couple of dental offices called Discount Dental Center. And they were fairly successful when he moved back to Philly. I even worked there for a time when I was a teenager. And now being an entrepreneur with the food trucks, with the pizzeria, I have to give credit where credit is due. The first time I've ever heard of the concept of working for yourself was from my father. My uncles had jobs. My grandpa had a job, who pretty much stepped in to be my dad once his son. My father wasn't really being there for me like that. Uncles, every other person I knew, my mom had a job. I didn't know any other entrepreneurs, and now being in the grind, I realized how challenging that is. And I realized he always told me to, be an entrepreneur and things of that nature. So, I had to give him credit where credit is due. In addition to that, he didn't drink or smoke. And I don't drink or smoke. And I had to give him credit for that, he did model that around me. I only lived with him for about 6 months. When I was a teenager, I was getting in some trouble. My mom made me go live with him. But he always modeled not drinking, not smoking. My grandfather also did that. He didn't drink or smoke. And I gotta give him credit for that. So even being a pop, I feel like he bounced on me and my sisters, so I did have an opinion of him in that regard. But for my brothers and other half siblings, sisters that he had in other marriages, they had a pretty healthy respect for him. And in their opinion, he was a pretty good dad. And in hindsight, if I just judged him on how he treated them, he was a good dad. In that regard, he didn't really do me the way I might have thought I should have been treated, but he did do his other children pretty fine. So I can give him that and just not try to make him out to be the worst person ever. So that's just my little story with that. But just in general, there's always a silver lining in anything you go through, in my humble opinion. So you always want to find it and look at it like that rather than looking at it so negatively. Even though there was a lot of negative aspects to my personal situation, and I'm sure there's more than enough negative aspects in your situation, but you got to find that silver lining to try to keep a positive attitude about it. All right. think I'm done. Peace. Oh, sheesh.